All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Champions of Small Business podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Anderson. I'm joined today with Alex Stiffler. I love Alex. Alex is, we've been working with her for, the last 6 months probably.
We're going to, issue number 4. Yeah.
Okay, so the last 4 months.
Yep.
We work with Alex in the Stroll Forest Hills magazine. She puts together an awesome publication for the residents of Forest Hills, Harrisburg, which is an awesome publication that's focused on small business, focused on all things community. So she jives with us. She jives with Champions of Small Business. She's everything that we want in a guest here. So, Alex, thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, more than welcome.
So,
what an introduction.
I know, right? I went crazy there for a second.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. I love everything that you do. I mean, like I said, it jives with everything that this is about, everything that I'm about personally, everything that DreamWorks is about.
Yeah.
Small, community,
Yep.
people focused. Like this is what in our massive industrialized, hyper connected society is I think what's missing in our world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's perfect. That's exactly what our publication's all about. It's community connections and relationships. At the end of the day, we all sell something, right? Like you guys sell roofing. I sell marketing. Yeah. But that's not what I do. I sell community connections and relationships. Right. And that's what's really important to me and what drives everything that I do. And also thank you for having me. I know we've been chit-chatting for a hot minute.
Yes. Of course.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to have you. And I love, it sounds like you're a person with you're very passion driven and you have a larger purpose behind what you do.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're all here to make money at the end of the day, right? If we get in your public,
the world go round.
Right. You know what I mean? This is, there's a certain, you can't get away from that in this life, but
No.
I think you've married it beautifully and in a way to provide value, provide to your community also while making a living for yourself.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So take me back. Who is Alex Stiffler? How did you get to where you are today? Yeah. I know between our conversations, sounds like you've been through a lot, and you've done a lot of different things.
I have,
which I love. I love when people have. That's like me. I tell people I've quit more jobs than I've ever worked.
Yep.
And so, tell me your story. How'd you get here?
Yeah. So, to sum me up in a couple short words, first and foremost, I identify myself as a mom and a wife. Family is really, really important to me. I love my husband and my 3 boys. They rock my world. I also have 3 younger sisters, so I have oldest child syndrome. Oh,
okay.
So, have to be an example for them. But,
I see where the mom thing comes from.
Oh, yes, definitely the mom thing. So, life has been rough for me, but not in, everybody has their own story. So I've been through some stuff over the last decade. My father passed away a decade ago, 9 years ago in 2 days.
Jeez. Sorry.
Had a really hard time with that. My grandma passed away 2 months after.
Man.
Went through a lot of different things. Most recently, my husband's grandmother passed away while we were on vacation in Ireland.
Yeah.
So, it's just about honestly crying it out and just moving on. Because at the end of the day, we all survived 100% of our worst days.
Someone told me that yesterday.
Yeah.
That exact same sentiment yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's like, you've survived 100% of your bad days so far.
Yep. Exactly. So the only thing that you can do is keep on moving. I
Yeah.
mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But, so I've done a lot of different things. I've ran a couple different businesses for other individuals. I've worked in insurance, really great at life insurance sales because I truly believe in it. Everybody should have it.
Yeah.
Seen some pretty crappy stuff without it, seen some stuff with it, and kind of hit my top of the bracket of where I could go. And that's what I found in every industry I've been in. I just kind of get to that top so quickly that I'm like, all right, what now?
Yeah.
Right? So what do I do when I hit that top bracket? Not that there's no more money to be made, but where do I go and where do I follow that passion?
Sure.
So I went from insurance to restoration. Love that. Love my team.
Yeah.
Love doing what I do there. But family's more important. 24/7, 365 days a year was not for me.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working with my lifestyle. And I had to really take a step back, actually kind of attribute a lot of the things that I'm doing now to some of my networking groups that I've been a part of, and really talking it through with some of the Polka Dot sisters that I do with networking, some of the BNI members, my husband, and went through the process. It took me 6 months to jump on that leap of faith to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
We're franchise, obviously.
Yeah.
So went through all the franchise appointments and all of that. And still, after I was approved, I was like, all right, do I really want to do this? Opening any business. I mean, you're not having an income for a couple months. When you have a family, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially with young children. And it was scary. And I'm a big believer in the universe. The universe handed me the exact amount of money that I needed from when I was in a car accident, unfortunately, when I was pregnant. And it was exactly what we needed to survive this couple months while I was working on the building.
While you were building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and we're edition 4. Yeah. Edition 4 in. We brought on a lot of new business sponsors. The community loves it. One of my residents, he literally asked me for 10 extra publications.
Nice.
To just share to people that he knows. I have interns. I got 4 staff members with me, and
right.
Yeah, just growing.
Man, so you started in insurance sales.
Mm-hmm.
And then moved to restoration after that. Yeah, restoration's rough.
Yeah.
Restoration, I don't know if people who don't know, like you guys responded to fire, smoke, water, storm, anything like that. And that was a true, when we first started DreamWorks, we worked with Mark 1 Restoration. We were like one of their number one go-to subs because we were willing to do anything. So like 9:30, there was a tornado in Lancaster that ripped a roof off and it needed a tarp on it or needed it boarded up. We were driving to Lancaster at 9:30 at night to go put wood up on windows.
9:30 at night, that's easy. Like it's at the 1:37 when a tree falls on someone's house and getting those phone calls.
Yeah.
It's like,
dude,
no, it was hard.
So how long did you do that for?
I did that for, oh goodness, year and a half. Yeah. My husband actually used to work for me.
Nice.
So I fired him.
Hold on, let me write this down.
Yes.
Let me write this down.
No. I adore my husband, but it just wasn't conducive to our married life.
Sure.
So, but he came in and helped us fill a role where we needed that role filled.
Yeah.
And actually went and did some other things back to where he needed to go. So it was really nice having that opportunity to work with him too.
Now, did you own the franchise?
No, I did not.
No. Okay.
Nope.
I was just curious.
It's always so funny. So I always said that I would never own my own business and I would always run somebody else's.
Yeah.
But this year has really been all about growth for me as an individual, with my husband, as a family, as a business owner, really coming back and figuring out, okay, who am I? I'm not in somebody else's cage anymore of what they want me to be, and really being true to who I am, what my values are, and just being that authentic self. Not everybody gets along with that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty straightforward, no BS kind of person. And if that's not who you are, that's fine. I actually have met with businesses that I don't think are a good fit for my publication because they just see the residents as money.
Right.
And that's not what I do.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we're about. So I've actually declined a couple people from being in my publication because I want it to be community, connections, and relationship. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Money at the end of the day makes the world go round, but money isn't important enough for me to sacrifice those values.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think if you start with a strong purpose and strong core values and everything goes back through that, money will follow. Money will always follow a good business. Money will follow good people. Bad people and bad businesses might be able to make some money quick. Yeah. But it won't follow them for very long.
Oh, exactly. And who was telling me to? I'm also a big believer in abundance. Like, at the end of the day, look, I am not the only form of marketing and advertising. Yeah. I don't fit everybody's budget. I don't fit their timeline. It may not be a good time for them.
Sure.
But I know what we do is great. But also at the same time, I had somebody tell me the other day that they work with a business coach, and their business coach is one of the best that they've ever worked with. Because at the end of the day, they said, if you feel that you're in competition with any other business, you failed as a business owner. Mm-hmm. We are not in competition with one another. We live in a crazy abundant universe. There is enough money. There is enough work. There is enough for everybody to go around. like there's no competition. I mean, you guys have seen that firsthand with the publication.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's such a hard thing to grasp, like to put your, and it's something that I've struggled with even as of recently, is to remind myself that if you don't like, as a roofing company, we close, on a good month, we'll have a 40% closing rate. That means 60% of our time is wasted all the time.
Yep.
All the time. Sometimes we get down into the 30%. That means 70% of our time is wasted all the time. And it's hard not to take the negative energy that comes from that and apply it towards others versus digesting it and turning it into a positive light. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do it, it's
I still struggle with it.
Yeah. Cause that's our default, default mode,
well, And also at the end of the day, like the business that I'm in it for the no's.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how many people tell me no?
Yeah.
Like I had somebody that was super excited last week and then I get an email and canceling our appointment. She's like, now just isn't the right time. I'm okay with that. I don't care if somebody tells me no.
Sure.
If it's not a good time, that's fine. I actually had a business that I talked to back in February randomly reach out to me one Friday and was like, hey, our business has been open for a couple months. We want to be a part of the publication now. We love seeing what you're doing. On Facebook, they saw a copy, I guess, from one of the residents in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Just this past week, I've had 3 people reach out to me.
Nice.
And the only way you can see my publication is A, if you live in the neighborhood, or B, somebody tells you about it.
Yeah.
You can't find my publication online.
Really?
So
it's true organic word of mouth and people doing the work.
Yeah. Well, and the main reason we do that is because it's so hyper local. We don't want, everybody and their mother seeing all, the pets and the kids and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But that's what it's about. It's not meant to be the entire world.
Sure.
It's supposed to be that hyper thing. And our residents love it because it's all good news.
Yeah.
So our preview actually came out today. One of the residents, he loves the preview, so he gets sent it. And he's also contributor too. Mm-hmm. So you got the preview today and he's like he sent me a message and he's like, I got the preview, I'm so excited. He's in one of our articles for the football article this month and he's like, good news is good news. And I was like, that's the only thing we share.
Yeah.
Where everywhere else it negative everywhere.
You don't need that. No, I love that. So and that's really cool that your magazine, like, it almost forces, you're doing a good job if people are sharing it.
Yeah.
Because that means all of the content is good, it's positive, and it's up to the folks to share, and the business owners to share it. So everybody else, that's all the new business sponsors, are probably getting a good return on it. Mm-hmm. So that's good, like, immediate feedback for you to know that what you're doing it works.
It is. Now, of course, I still have that mindset of like, oh, am I doing a good job, right? So I actually had that conversation. I have a coach through our corporate office because I also always want to grow. I never want to stay stagnant, and I think that's where I've always found my issue in my prior roles.
Right.
Is I don't stay stagnant, and I just outgrow them too quickly. And my coach today, she told me I'm doing a good job. And I know that sounds so ridiculous, but as business owners, you're not told that very often.
Yeah.
By people like that aren't your spouse or already in your circle, right? Not that my coach isn't, but her saying that she did a good job to me today was like huge. And, going back to like return on things, return is so hard in marketing. Marketing is all psychology.
Yes.
You and I both know that.
Yep.
It's all about staying top of mind, and that's really what our publications are all about. The residents see it as being a community supporter, not a solicitor.
Yeah.
So they want to support the businesses that are in the publication because that's the only way it's possible for them.
Right.
And also at the same time, too, it's just staying top of mind. So it's not really a matter of who your customer is. It's just going to be a matter of when do they become your customer.
Exactly.
Google, I love Google in many ways, but Google gets credit for so much.
And Google gets the credit because it's tangible, right? You can go to Google and say, okay, I spent $1,000.
Yep.
I made $2,000.
Yep.
This was a net positive result. Whereas most other forms of marketing, you're kind of like I hope this comes back someday.
Exactly. So, and it's really funny you say that. So, like, I went and met with one of our business sponsors the other day, and I have her address in my portal, right? Yeah. But I Googled it to go to her salon. Just because, like, I still don't know all the different areas sometimes.
Sure.
I'm directionally challenged. You can ask my husband. So, like, getting from point A to point B is terrible for me most days.
Yeah.
But Google just gets everything.
Yeah.
Like, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people don't ask the right questions. So I met with a business owner today, really awesome girl. Funny enough, she actually knows the new employer that my husband's working for. I found that out during our meeting.
Nice.
But she was referred to me by one of my other business sponsors. But she didn't say that when she emailed me. She just said, hey, I heard about your publication.
Yep.
And unless I sat there and actually asked her,
Yeah.
where did you hear about me specifically?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, this is how I heard about you. But people, business owners and employees, they don't go that deep into things.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, how did you hear about us? Oh, I Googled you.
Yep.
You know, billboards.
That's what everybody says to us. Because, I mean, part of our call intake is, how'd you first hear about DreamWorks Roofing?
Yeah.
And they go, I found you on the internet.
Yeah.
It's a tidbit I'll drop out to the whole world is the way that we try to qualify that a little better. Because obviously, we're trying to, justify our marketing spend and see.
Every business should.
But this question gets people thinking is when we're on the phone, we say, how did you first hear about us?
Yep.
And it's when you phrase the question like that, it makes them kind of dig a little deeper rather than just giving like where they were right before they called you. How did you first hear about us? And it kind of helps to open that up a little bit more. So anyone listening, that's a good tidbit. We've gotten much more fruitful answers from people whenever we ask it that way.
Oh, 1,000%. And plus what we do, it's relationship marketing. It's not meant to get you 100 phone calls.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
And if you want 100 phone calls to sustain your business, like your business is not sustaining itself.
Yes.
You don't want 100 phone calls and then going out and doing 50 quotes for maybe 20 people to use your services for 50% off.
Yep.
Like that's just not sustainable to anybody's business.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, people do business with who they like, know, and they trust. Key
fact.
Google is such a powerful thing, and it's especially for someone in like the trades.
Yep.
Right? Because when someone's looking to actively hire, usually they're not sitting there thinking like, who do I know? They're going, who's the best one of these around me?
Yeah.
And it's a necessary evil to kind of be there, but being there without the like, know, or trust factor is almost useless.
Oh, 1,000%. Or like Facebook or Nextdoor.
Yeah.
So those are things that have been pretty big. So I always see people post on Facebook like, hey, I'm looking for this service, but I want it cheap.
Yeah.
And it's like, I see people post on there, and not that it's always the case, but you and I both know what it takes to be insured in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
$50 and the ability to read them right.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do to be a general contractor. Licensed and insured, it doesn't mean anything other than the state got $50.
Doesn't mean a damn thing. That's right. That's it. Sorry, that's the way it is in Pennsylvania.
It's just the reality of the situation. So whenever somebody posts on Facebook, it irritates my entire soul that they say licensed and insured. It doesn't mean they're a good contractor. That doesn't mean anything other than they had $50 and 20 minutes to spare to fill out an application.
Right.
So it's like, for me to get my insurance license, it was harder and I had to actually pass a test.
Yeah.
But people can go in your house and don't have to be licensed to put electrical work in.
Yeah, and work on something that could cause a fire in the most expensive thing that you own.
Yes.
That's something, it's a initiative of ours over the next like 10 years to push, honestly, and a lot of contractors might hate us for this, and we don't really care, but to push for some regulation in the industry.
Yeah.
Because
Maryland has regulation.
Maryland, and that's where we're licensed in Maryland.
Yeah.
Failed the test. It's a hard test.
Yeah.
We failed the test to try to get our Maryland contractor's license the first time, because when just to be a roofer, you need to know about the span for a load bearing wall and
math.
You have to know everything. So they like that's the way it should be, because we work on the most expensive part of a person's home. Like roofs are $20,000. You want to roll the dice on $20,000 from a guy that responded to a post on Facebook because you were asking for a reasonable roofer, and not to like I'm not to like downplay anybody who's reasonably priced, but that's one of the biggest irks that I kind of have in this business is people are always looking for somebody reasonable. Like what does reasonable mean?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Oh yeah.
Because what it means to you may not mean to somebody else, and just I wish there was more value in the trades sometimes. I'm sure you know.
Oh, and I mean, it's not even just trades too. I mean, as you know, I meet with any potential business sponsor that goes in my publication.
Yeah.
Any single person. Because I want to make sure, one, it's a good fit for them. And they understand how our program works. Because we're not just a publication. Like, I'm not. It's a full program. I mean, I have events. Yeah. We have digital marketing. Our Facebook page is pretty heavily followed.
Nice.
You know, likes on Facebook and Instagram, they don't really mean anything. You can go on Target right now, and their latest post probably has 50 likes.
Yeah.
And Target has how many thousands
of
millions
it's
of followers?
It's a billion-dollar corporation.
Exactly. But I still know that people are looking at it because you can see the views. You can see how long they watch things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're a full program. And you know, I find it so difficult to explain that to people because I'm also in marketing and advertising. Yeah. And so many people just see me out to want their money. At the end of the day, do I want your money? Yeah. Like, I have to pay my mortgage somehow. Sure. But also, I want my business sponsors that are in our publication to find success, not only in the publication, but any way that I can help you find success too. I know, for example, when we had the hailstorm a couple months back, it was me, Moses, Lori, and I. Yep. Lori was with another roofing company, and you guys, we had a chat about hail damage. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we had how many companies come from out of state? Yeah. And they hurt people. Yeah. They do.
Exactly right.
Like, I was in restoration. We had to look at an entire neighborhood one time that was put on by a non-named roofing company from out of state. And all of these people, like, that's not covered by insurance.
Everyone's left holding the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And so many people don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Just like me. I don't know what I don't know. I'm still figuring out how to be a mom, be a wife, being a good human being and just being a business owner in general. So, I mean, there's so many things that people in society just don't understand.
And I think the sooner you understand that you don't understand it all and forgive yourself for not knowing it all.
Grace.
The more grace you give. And this is the pot calling the kettle black right now.
I know. I'm thinking the same thing because I have no grace with myself.
This podcast sometimes turns into a bit of me, like, resonating some things that I'm struggling with out onto the next person to kind of see how you deal with them too. But grace is a hard thing, especially for for all business owners and people in society in general.
Yes.
Right? Just extending yourself some damn grace once in a while. Yes. But the sooner that you figure that out, the better, especially in business, to have that humility and realize that, like, it's okay. You don't have everything figured out.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I have a severe anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah. Panic attacks, but I still get up every single day.
Shake your hand across the table. Good to have you here, brother.
So, I mean, grace is extremely hard for me, but also so is setting boundaries, but also being efficient with my time. Yeah. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So, like, if it's time for me to go home, it's easier for me to stop at Walmart on my way home, then go home, then leave, drive a half hour to Walmart, and then drive home. Right. So balancing what those different things look like, but also setting boundaries. One of the biggest things is I used to have all my emails would pop up on my phone. Mm. I set that boundary, I think 2 months into opening the business, I turned my email off. So that I can only see them if I look at them.
If you log into your email.
Yes. Most recent boundary I recently set was, it stresses me out not responding to somebody, even if I know it's not an immediate. Yeah. So I now on Friday, 5 o'clock, you email me from Friday at 5 o'clock until Sunday, I have an automatic email that goes out and says, thank you so much for your email. If this is an emergency, you can call or text me. That's perfectly fine. But otherwise, please expect a response back on Monday. Right. Because I want people to know, hey, I care and I'm going to respond to you, but I don't like sitting in that, like,
limbo.
That limbo. Yeah. Even if it's over the weekend. Because I also have businesses that they're open on the weekend. Sure. They don't recognize weekends.
Now it's their time to work.
Exactly.
Not understanding that it's not necessarily your time to work.
Exactly. So figuring out what those boundaries are and delegating too. I actually heard it on your one of your other episodes. If you can find somebody else that does what you do, 80% as good as what you do, 80% is good enough. Yes. And that was something that I did learn opening this business. Like, I love giving people ideas for their ads. Yeah. Because we do create ads for our business sponsors. But I don't have time to change it from size 12 to size 14 font when you guys want to change that. Right. I know that sounds something so silly, but when you add 40 of those tasks, that just took up an entire day. Yeah. Or however many emails. So we have an amazing ad strategist that I work with. I have a photographer that I work with. There's so many different people. I have somebody that helps me as my assistant to even just make phone calls. I do a lot of networking. So if I go to a networking event, there's different networking for different types of business and different types of personal things, and shake 30 people's hands. Do you know how long it's going to take me to call 30 people?
Yes.
And send 30 emails?
Yeah.
And you meet them at networking events. You don't always know who's going to be the best fit or who's not. So you have to get to know people on a personal level.
Right. So let's change gears then for a second over to something you just said, to networking events.
Yeah.
Seems to be a big part of, from what I understand, you do BNI, there's another group, I forget the name of it.
Polka Dot Powerhouse. Yep.
Polka Dot Powerhouse. And that's a women's only group.
That is a women's only group.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Love it. Would for any business owners that are listening, would you say that networking events, those kind of things, are they worth it? How do you use them to your advantage? And
oh yeah. So networking for me is extremely important because at the end of the day, you said it perfectly earlier. People only work with people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And I'm in one of the hardest industries. Do you know how many people hang up on me if I call them and say, hey, I cold call and say, hey, I want to talk to you about being in a print publication, because so many people argue with me that print is dead.
Print is dead, yep.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is actually, I think, coming back more so than social media is in many ways. We can have a whole another 3-hour conversation.
Branch we can take.
But networking is so important for me because people need to know who I am.
Yeah.
I've really taken the time this year to figure that out for myself, because I didn't know. I've always fit into somebody else's bubble, but also realizing the realness of who I am, not just as a business owner, but as a mom, as a wife, as a friend. And that's been huge with my networking journey for people to understand that. Now, there are certain people that I know, they're never going to be in my publication, and that's okay with me.
Sure.
That doesn't mean I support them any less. Some people, they just don't do any marketing. And that's okay. If that's what you want. I know some people that they don't want to grow, or they're a one-man show, or there's so many different reasons why.
Right.
And that's up to them.
Yeah.
But networking is huge for me. Plus, I'm also a people person.
You just love to get out there talking to people.
That's the reason why I opened this business, is connections.
Yeah.
You never know where a connection can lead. We were talking about that when I first walked in. My husband last week, he's amazing. Most days. I love him always. I don't always like him. And he's going to watch this and yell at me for saying that. But last week, he was working for a company, and it was too much work for one person, but not enough for another. So he actually wound up hiring a rental company to come in. And my husband was laid off just because of lack of work. Nothing because of his fault. He was actually absolutely excellent at his job. And I freaked out for 10 minutes. He called me, freaked out, hung up on him, cried. I did.
Yeah,
straight
I'm
up,
sure.
oh my gosh, I just opened my business.
Yeah,
And I
it's
just
terrifying.
got it. Well, and I just got it to you have your goals. I just got over that last goal, that last mountain, literally an hour before.
Yep.
And I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
Universe is like, here you go.
That's exactly what happened. The
Yeah.
universe was testing us.
Yeah.
And then I met a business owner at a networking event. And that's actually the networking event I met you at. I remember I walked up to you and said, hey, who's Charlie? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Where was that?
That was at the Mark Sheridan event.
That's right.
But I met a business owner, and at the end of the event, it was Doug Anderson with Anderson Pro Painting. He walked up to me and handed me his business card and said, hey, we should chat. I want you to work for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sir, not available for hire. And do you know how hard that is to say to somebody when you literally haven't had an income for multiple months while opening your own business? But we've stayed in connection. He's a really awesome guy.
Yeah, Doug's the man.
Oh, I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
And again, he's not in my publication, but I still adore him, and I think that he's awesome. And I've sent some people his way for positions that he's had open, and they haven't worked out. I've sent some customers his way, and just like I do with anybody that I know that I want to support. And he... At 10 minutes after Dave lost his job, I sent him a text and I was like, hey, are you still looking for somebody to fill this job? And he's like, yeah, why? 24 hours later, Dave had a job.
Beautiful.
Yes. That just doesn't happen, though.
Yeah.
There was a reason that I connected with him at that meeting. There was a reason that I walked up to you and said, hey, who's Charlie?
Yep.
There's a reason for everything that happens. And at the end of the day, I now know that the universe was testing me. Because now I've had 3 people reach out to me that I have no idea who they are. And this was my reward for not overreacting, taking it with a stride, and just digging that knife out of the bag that it just stabbed there, right?
Man, I just love to I almost get like emotional when I hear stuff like that, because you don't see the fruit of that networking sometimes, right? You go out. I know, like I've been in BNI. I've been in a multitude of different networking events, and we do small business activities. We go out and like sometimes you don't see the fruits of that labor, and it's so nice to hear that, like, when you keep at it, and you keep that higher purpose in mind, right? Again,
correct.
Like you're there to deliver value for people because you're going to get value in return, and you want to create real connections. Like, it does come back to you. So it's just nice to hear it work out.
Well, and also at the same time, so many people, when they go to networking events too, like there's different networking events for different things. Like BNI, it's very referral based. The women's group that I'm in, it's very personal based, and the business comes. So, I mean, there's different times and different places for different types of networking.
Nice.
But also at the end of the day, not everything has to come to you in a monetary value.
That's right.
It doesn't. Like,
That's right.
And so many people just focus on that monetary value. They don't focus on the knowledge that they're learning. Like, there's a reason I listen to your podcast, because I like listening to other small businesses not only go through their successes, but go through their struggles as well.
Yeah.
And so many people aren't real about that.
That's where the lessons are learned. The
1,000%.
lessons, you don't learn much when you're really good at a game, and you have to experience failure to learn, and that's what the whole point of this thing is,
I've made mistakes in my business. I'll
yeah.
be very blunt and upfront about that. I have made mistakes in my business, but I've learned from every single one, and I will never make those mistakes again.
Hell yeah.
And that's just like life in general too. Like, there's so many different things. You have to learn from your mistakes. The people that aren't successful are the ones that don't learn, or do the same thing over and over. Definition of insanity, and expecting a different result.
Right.
Like, I don't enjoy certain things, so I hired people to do that, because
right.
I know it's not going to get done.
Yeah. If it's like bookkeeping to me, I was really good at it, but I hated it. Hated it.
Yeah.
And it sucked so much, but I let it go. Because I was like, man, why aren't my books getting done right? Oh, it's because I hate doing it. Why is my accountant yelling at me every quarter, wondering why my books aren't straight? Oh, it's because I hate doing it.
And there's so much knowledge that we also have as individuals that we need to share it. Like, small business owners, I keep saying like, and I don't know why. Small businesses, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, nobody does.
None of us do.
None of us do. None of us know what we're doing as parents. None of us know what we're doing in this life. We just have to trust that it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
Do you know how many business owners I've told advertising is a write-off? And they don't understand what that means. Like, nobody understands, what does a write-off actually mean? And I'm like, do you track your miles on your car?
Yeah.
They're like, we're supposed to do that?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here, like, ready to pull my hair out, because there's no book that tells you how to be a business owner. There is not.
There is not a book that tells you. That's why I love networking with people in your own space, because there's so much that you can learn instead of being competition. Right now, hyper locally, I know, like me, I couldn't reach out to another roofing company and be like, "Hey, man, how do you, how do you deal with this thing when you're working insurance claims?" They'd be like, "Screw you, get off the phone."
Yes.
But like, that's one of the things I love about social media, and is connect with other people in your industry, because if you can help them, they can help you, vice versa. Like, there's a shit ton of lessons to be learned. But we don't have to learn them alone, or you don't have to experience every single pitfall with monetary, like losing money.
There's 6 other publications in Central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
6 other publications doing what I do.
Yeah,
but we're all individual business owners.
Yeah, like Greg over in
I love Greg. I have a coffee with him like once a week, every 2 weeks.
Right.
He was texting me right before I walked in here. Yeah.
Did you tell him you were coming over?
No, I didn't tell him.
I was curious, because I was going to snatch him at some point too.
Yes, and he's awesome too. But when I was opening my business too, I created this tribe around myself.
Yeah.
Of people, not only just in my corporate office from like a local level. I was actually one of my business coaches was the person that I used to advertise with. And her and I became really good friends when I was advertising through her. And one day, she didn't push me. She actually told me one day, she goes, Alex, I don't care what you do in life. She's like, I know you can do this business. She goes, but you just need to leave your job and be happy.
Yeah.
And go somewhere where you don't have a roof over your head and you can do whatever you want to do.
Nice.
She's amazing. Her name is Lauren Linhard-Papp. Shout out to her. She's down in York, but we have, publications in York, publications in Lancaster. Greg and I, we're 20 minutes apart.
Yeah, you're really close.
Yeah. Do you know how many businesses, we cross paths, but we work together?
Sure.
You know that. You see that firsthand.
Yeah.
So it's all about abundance in this world.
Yeah. Man, I love your mindset. And that's something that'll as long as, no matter what happens, I feel like you have a good guiding light in front of you to always keep yourself on this towards your North Star. That's such a good mindset to have.
Guiding light, bottle of wine on my kitchen floor.
I know. I've been there.
I mean, you have to. You have to let yourself feel the feelings and question, hey,
sure,
am I doing a good job? Because if you're not questioning if you're doing a good job, then you're not doing a good job.
That's right. Yeah.
You're just not.
And if you're having a bad day, I was just talking to a coach the other day. He was like, listen, if you're having a bad day, let yourself have the bad day. Yeah. He's like, let yourself have the bad day. If you're having a good day, let yourself have the good day. But if you're having a bad one, let yourself have the bad day. There's going to be ups and downs here, man. Trust me. This ain't the first one or the last one that you're going to be dealing with. Oh,
yeah. My husband losing his job. He had an interview the next day, and I knew that he was going to crush it. I knew it. I told Doug, hey, if it doesn't work out, no big deal.
Yeah.
But I knew it. I still had a pint of ice cream and a glass of wine that night because life is hard.
Yeah.
And anybody that tells you different, they're idiots. It just is for every single person.
Yeah. If someone tells you they haven't figured out, they're trying to convince themselves, not you.
I'd love to have their crystal ball.
Yeah. Right. So this kind of goes hand in hand with something you just said, but coaching. Mm-hmm. You have a business coach or a life coach or some other kind of coaches in your life?
So I've created a network around myself of people that I pull different things from.
Okay.
Just from working with them. I do have a coach through my company, through our corporate office.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did say that.
So she helps me with business. So today we were just talking about, she told me I did a good job today, which I know sounds so silly, but somebody telling you did a good job.
Feels good to get a pat on the back no matter how old you are.
It does. And we were talking about content because I have a lot of people that submit a lot of things from our neighborhood, and it's becoming a lot of different things. So that's been really great, but how to organize that and organize myself, or, hey, I met with this person. I think they would be a great fit and they were interested, but then they said no. How would you handle that? Would you send them an email back and be like, hey, I get that and I'm okay with it, but can you just tell me why?
Yeah.
Or so many people leave me in this ghost pattern, which I don't care. If you say yes or no to me, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does in a certain sense, but the people that are meant to work with me are going to work with me, but the people that just go, yeah, we're doing this, and then just go,
and then never to be heard from again.
It's like dating all over again. But yeah, so I work with her. I have some other people that I work with that it depends upon what it is. It might be, my social media. We have a regional manager. I called him yesterday, and I had a client that was like, hey, we're not getting anything from this when, I understand that, but it's only been 1 month.
Yeah.
The publication, your publication where you're featured hasn't even come out yet.
This is,
I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's seen it yet.
Nobody's seen you yet. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. So I know that sounds so silly, but I think they thought that it was coming out a month before, but you have to have those very real conversations. But I also just listen to a lot of things. I read a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've been taking a lot of things to heart. I read a book today that it's actually from the founder of the women's group I'm in, because that's nationwide. And it had a line in there, and it says, it said change the world, and that's literally tattooed on my wrist.
Nice.
And that comes from my father's passing 9 years ago, which happens in 2 days. There's a reason I was reading that book today.
Yeah.
I literally gave myself chills and messaged her and was like, hey, I was reading your book, and this just happened. So it's just, you have to pull those people in. And recently I've also let some people go.
Yeah.
And that's hard because I want to be a better person and I want my business to thrive and I want to support other people. And when I give something to somebody else, I don't necessarily expect anything in return.
Right.
But when you give and give and give, and you never get anything in return, that turns into a one-sided relationship. And that's something I don't want in my life anymore.
Right.
I want people around me that support me and cheer me on and want to see me succeed.
Sure.
Like, why don't people want to see other people succeed anymore? I know that's a hard question to answer, but why not? Why is it so difficult to be happy for someone?
I think there's something societally broken, if that's a word. Something in society that's broken, where if someone else is being successful, that means you're not being successful, or you're being a failure. And again, that's there's just a lack of abundance, right? There's enough success for every single person in this world to be successful. Stop trying to don't hate on somebody else for trying to make a change, or hate on someone else for trying to find success.
Exactly.
You know, and that's negativity that you got to, as much as you want to bring more people into your circle, you can only fit so many true ones in there, know?
Exactly. And also I feel too, also with like the way that you build your circle around you, and I had a thought and it just went poof, but, like, it's just hard, and finding those people that are meant to be in that inner circle and not see you as competition. That's what it is. Life isn't a competition. Like my husband and I, we sold our house and built our house at the perfect time in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, all the realtors and mortgage loan officers that are listening to this, we will never move. My house now is worth $80,000 more than what we paid for it.
Oh yeah.
And I have a 2.1% interest rate. So this is the house that I'm stuck with for
you're
life,
there.
right?
Yeah.
But we have friends that come over, or people that were friends that have come over, and they're like, "Oh wow, you have a really nice house." And it's like, "No, look, we were just lucky."
Yeah.
Or, "Hey, you could do this too if you don't go to the bar every night."
Right.
And the more successful that my husband and I have become, because 5 years ago, we were in a little crappy apartment in New York City that we could hear gunshots.
No shit.
Like, not even kidding.
Yeah.
And to think back on that 5 years ago, like, we've built something for ourselves. But the more successful you become in life and the happier you become, the more people that come out and want to just take you down. And that hurts, and I don't understand it. So it's really hard finding that balance and the true people and the people that are in your corner and want you to succeed.
Sure.
And even if that supports hey, you're doing a good job.
Right.
I don't need money.
That's all.
Like,
that's all it takes.
Do you know how many friends I know that are business owners, and they could be in my publication, but I don't expect them to be, and I flat out, I don't expect your money from me.
Right.
But don't ask me to do something for you as a favor and then not return that favor and then crap on the business that I built for myself.
Right.
Do you know how long it takes certain businesses to go into profit? I think it's 3 years or something like that?
Yeah, probably on average, I would say something like that.
Yeah, we were in profit in 3 months.
Wow. Yeah, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
And that's not a bragging thing. That's just, hey, at the end of the day, I need to support my family and I want to support the community, and you have to get down to the nitty gritty or you're never going to be successful. You have to get up every day, even if you don't want to. You have to cry on the floor. You have to keep moving on and survive 100% of your worst days.
Right.
Do the shit that you don't want to do.
That's such a powerful statement. Like, I'm gonna write that one down, like, just as a reminder, that you've survived 100% of the bad days that you've had so far.
I have it. My mom, when we went to Ireland, she was at my house watching my kids.
Yeah.
Poor mom. She had 3 extra days because it took us
you that long to get back.
It took us that long. Everybody was watching our journey on Facebook.
It was amazing.
It was something.
I felt bad for you guys.
It was terrible. But my mom was working out of my office, and she works for a mortgage officer, so she has the capability. And in my office, it's something so silly, but she wrote on my sticky notes, "Mom loves you," and I still have them up in my office.
Nice.
Like, something so silly.
Yeah.
But just having that constant reminder, I know she loves me. I know my husband loves me. But having that silly little thing when I have a stressful day and just sit back and like, all right, let's keep going.
Yep. Yeah. I keep this little piece of art that my daughter drew for me over here, like every single day. Just I need a reminder. Because my brain gets messy right here. Sitting behind that desk, my brain gets messy. And I need something to, and it just says, what does it say? It's like, because it's like, why do you love your dad? And it's like, because he gives me the best snuggles or something. And I'm like, damn it. And every time I read it, I'm like, what am I upset about?
Yeah.
Am I upset about, like, this person here cares? That's all that matters. Like, this little person likes my snuggles.
Yeah.
I don't care about my accountant right now. This little person loves my snuggles. Like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing all right.
Exactly. And figuring out those important people is, I think, such a game changer. Like, stop giving your all to people.
Yeah.
You have to. And I'm not saying that in a negative sentiment or saying cut everybody out of your life. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't need friends in my life that are like, oh, it must be nice. My husband and I, we got... Fun story. We got decided to get married in the middle of an argument in the car.
Nice.
We were arguing. We have old people names for one another, and he said to me something, and I said something back. He's like, "Well, we just sound like an old married couple." And I'm like, "Well, I guess we should get married then." He's like, "Okay, maybe we should." And that's how we decided to get married.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have enough money for health insurance and all that fun stuff. We got married in 2 weeks in my mom's living room with
nice.
A cheap little ring from Kohl's. Hey. We got in a huge fight. I think it was that February, and he bought me a new wedding set. And somebody's like, "Oh, well, I love my original ring." And that was what was important to me. But it's, okay, that's great and nice for you, but we did this together.
Yeah.
We picked out this together.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about the money. It was just special. He never actually proposed to me. We were in Ireland in our hotel room. He got down on one knee and said, "Hey, will you marry me again with a cheap Walmart ring?" And nice. Then we went and bought my anniversary band.
Nice.
So, but having nice things doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And I hate that people associate money and success with equals bad.
Yeah.
And so many people do that nowadays.
I wish I knew the answers to any any of this. It sucks, and that's just like, it's something you got to learn to eat over the years and learn to digest it, and then learn when to get away from it.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. It's something I'm struggling with myself.
Yeah.
Even currently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, feeling comfortable in your life is especially coming from someone like I wasn't very comfortable my whole, like, good part of my life. Like, I wasn't very comfortable. I had a really hard upbringing. So to feel comfort now, I'm like, God, what's wrong with me? Like, this is like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. I should still be running to the bank to grab 80 to go put my check in the ATM and barely get my light bill paid by the end of the day before it gets shut off. Like, that's the mode I'm entirely stuck in all the time. Fight or flight mode, exactly. Yep. So yeah, maybe it's just people feel because they're there that you should be there too, or that because you're succeeding, they're failing. And, you know,
I shouldn't be afraid of success. You shouldn't be afraid of success. You should be proud of it.
Yeah.
What did I post? I think you liked it today. So one of my biggest goals with my publication, this is super silly. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with, like, severe recognition or awards or anything.
Yeah.
But one of my goals was to have a cover of our publication posted by our corporate office.
Yeah.
Our third publication in, our corporate office posted that on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I know it's so silly to some people, but that was a huge goal for me, was to have our cover featured.
Nice.
Because that means we're being seen.
Yeah.
That means I'm being successful. People reaching out to me, like, you can't find me. That means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I need to pat myself on the back, not in a cocky way, just in a confident way.
Right.
Like, I need to be confident in what I'm doing. You don't need to be cocky and say, "Hey, I'm the best thing ever." Look, there's going to be other things out there that people need to spend money on or want to spend money on in terms of advertising and marketing. And, you know, I might not be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay with me, because not everybody's my cup. If I don't like everyone, I have to understand not everyone's going to like me either, right?
Right.
So, but that's really the goal of what our publication is too, is to have the best businesses for the community to select from, because there's going to be people, no offense, there's going to be people that won't like you.
Yeah.
You might be too tall. You might smile the wrong way.
Yeah.
They might hate the color orange.
Yeah.
And they want to work with somebody else. Everybody gets, 3 quotes, and they drive with who they drive. And I want to make sure that that's what our publication is. When that need arises, they have the best to select from.
They have all the options.
You can't control when somebody needs a roof. I mean, you can if you're some shady other roofing companies.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, there's some guys out there who try to control that.
You can try to control that,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, nobody comes to you willingly and says, "Hey, I need $20,000 roofed because I hate the color." Usually.
Yeah. Yep.
At least, not my instance.
Yeah. It's such a hard lesson to learn, though, and thank you for sharing all that, because it's really, I think it's really eye opening to someone who's a giver, someone who's
people pleaser.
A people pleaser,
Yeah.
which I have those tendencies myself.
Yep.
And in business, I want to help everybody. And the sooner you realize you can't help everybody, not everybody is the right fit for you.
Yeah.
Even though they all have the same money, If they're not the right fit, the money is not as good as the money from the good fit. Right? You're going to 3x the money off of the person that's a good fit for you versus zero. You know, if you do something that's purely transactional, there's no upside to it.
I mean, and that's the hard thing too. So many people think if I cold call them, that's why I love networking, right? Because people can see me and put a face to it.
Like, no one trusts you.
Exactly. If I cold call somebody and say, hey, I do this publication, it's advertising. How many phone calls do you get for advertising here?
We hang up on 3 or 4 of them a day.
Exactly. And I'm the other person on that other line, but I know what my product is.
Yeah.
It took me 4 months to finally say, when I talk to people and have meetings, you know, what the positive notes are about being our publication. And it took me 4 months to finally say, and you get me.
Nice.
And that, to me, is such a powerful statement because I know that what I do is good.
Yeah.
I know that what our publication is amazing. I know the network of people that I have, not only in our publication, but in the area, in York, in Lancaster. The people that I know is huge. Like something simple. Somebody was looking for an eyebrow technician. I don't have one in my publication.
Yeah.
But they're in York, and my York publication and partners, they do.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? You
reached into that network.
Reach into that pocket.
Yep.
Exactly.
Reach into that network.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I like to always tell people, like, I got a guy for everything.
Yeah.
Which is true, but that also doesn't mean all of those guys make the best fit for what I do.
Sure.
And I'm not the best fit for everybody in their budget and time and all that jazz. So
fair enough. Well, I'm pumped that you got that and you made peace with that fact. Pray for the rest of us to finally get there one of these days, you know?
I wouldn't say I'm there. Just talk a good game, right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
We all make it up as we go along. Well, Alex, we touched on a bunch of stuff here. I mean, what else? I'm trying to think what else we could talk about here. How do you deal with children?
Oh, children.
Children and business. Like, how do you? I think I know what your answer is going to be here, but I think that's a good one to end on because children is such an important part of your life, and your business is such an important part of your life. That how do you kind of segment the two of those, or do you not segment them?
I don't segment them.
Yeah.
But that's not how everybody. Some people want private life, where I'm pretty sure I'm not transparent about everything on Facebook. Like, no offense. Like, I see people that post pictures of like them on toilets. Like, you don't need to know.
Yeah, we don't got to go there. Yeah.
But like,
we know you poop. We got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, I'm pretty transparent when I'm having a hard day or anything to that extent. My children are a very big part of my business because what I do, it's community. It's relationships. I'm a mom. Also, being a woman business owner is hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So many people don't get that, and so many women, like I'm not always like women empowerment because like, look, I'm not taking the trash out. I'm not doing the yard work. That is my husband's job. Yeah. But we run our household like a partnership. And some days I have 100%. Some days I only have 20. Yeah. And some days he has to fill that other 80%, or we both have 20, and we're just doing the best that we can. Sure. With my business, there's a lot of networking stuff that I do after hours. My husband's also in a motorcycle club. So we also have to balance out where our priorities lie as terms of individuals. Like, do I have to go to every networking event? No. Do I do it, one, because I enjoy it, but two, because it's a business? Yes. So we have to find that balance. So, like, I do one night a week where I do a networking thing. He has one night a week where he goes out doing whatever he wants to do. Yeah. And then we come back together. I also have a very big calendar. My entire life
runs on that calendar. Yep.
Oh yeah. My calendar ever breaks down, I literally will die. But my kids are also young, so I don't want to ever take away from the time that I spent with them, but also I'm important. Yeah. And me and my husband, our relationship is important, and finding that happy balance between being your own person, being in a relationship, having a family, being a business owner, having friends. It's like that, what is it, the analogy where you have like the golf balls and you put them in, and then you have the pebbles and the sand, and a beer with friends. Yep. I watch it every time I see it come across on Facebook and Instagram. You just have to figure out where the bubbles and pockets are and prioritize. Like, I'm never going to miss my kid's birthday. Yeah. Like, it's not going to happen. My husband, he was thrown under the rug last week because it was my sister's 21st birthday. So poor Dave, but he'll survive. 21st was way more important.
Absolutely. You only get one.
Oh, exactly. But being a mom, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, no idea.
But
my kids ate popcorn for dinner last night.
I'm pretty sure my kids ate chips last night.
But
we had school starting today, and we were like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
You want ice cream? Sure. Whatever.
Exactly. I went and stopped over at Dave's new job last night, and I was like, hey, let's go get an early dinner to celebrate.
Yeah.
And Doug let him leave half an hour early, and I was like, I'm just going to go chill in my car. He's like, no, you're not. Go celebrate. Go have a good time. And having dinner without the kids for like an hour was beautiful. Beautiful. But I did not cook dinner for them. They straight up had 2 bags of popcorn. Yep. And I think Eli might have had like a popsicle or ice cream or something too.
That's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
like,
that's
do you
all
have
right.
any snack plates like we do in our house sometimes?
My kids are built with snacks.
Well, and like snack plates for dinner, it's the best thing in the whole world.
We're keeping goldfish in business over here at my house.
Goldfish, ours is Welch's, but that's mainly because of my husband. He eats more snacks than my children. I promise you that. I had to order some to his office. But honestly, you just do it.
So just balance. I love that. Yeah, that's you. If you're filling all your buckets equally, it seems, right?
Yeah. Some weeks it's going to be worse than others,
sure.
Right? Like I think it was when I was opening the business, I was working a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like 3 or 4 nights a week, but I had to do that in order to get up and running. Whereas now I don't have to go to 5 networking events every single night of the week, but I'm going to go to 1 or 2 or. Some weeks, like I have conference coming up in a week. I'm going to be gone and miss my children for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I come home and I won't see my kids because we leave that night to go to the beach for our vacation. Mm-hmm. My husband and I are on vacation. So I'm not going to see my kids for a week.
Man.
But there's other weeks that I'm going to see them and be like, can you take them back, please?
Yeah.
Like my poor babysitter, like, can you come back? Can you take them on your vacation with you? I will pay you extra money. So it's just balance. It's figuring things out and realizing too when enough is enough.
Right.
So it's a hard thing. You're a business owner. I don't turn my phone off at 5. I don't. I know that sounds kind of silly to some people, and that's a boundary that a lot of people have. Mm-hmm. But I also mix my personal life into my workday sometimes. Yeah. Like if I have to go to the doctor's appointment, that's a personal thing. Yeah. Or if I have to go to the grocery store, it's quicker, more time efficient for me to stop at the grocery store on the way home.
Sure.
And do that grocery shopping, and then make up that hour at home versus wasting an hour in travel.
Right. Makes total sense.
So. Makes
total sense. Yeah. Well, Alex, I've loved our conversation here today. I feel like you and I are very much kindred spirits, and there's a lot of this conversation really resonated pretty heavily with me.
Yeah.
Just in all things life and business and struggle, and that's this is real shit that we're talking about, and there's real lessons I get learned here. So thank you so much for sharing everything that you talked about here today. It really was, it was really really good, and I think I've had almost as many women on this show as I have guys on this show. Yeah. And I swear the ones with the women are the best. Like you guys are just like emotionally, you're connected to your business, and you're connected to life, and you can explain it so much better than what like a dumb man like myself can sometimes. So it's like therapy with you guys, and you're like it's just awesome. So I love to see you succeeding.
Oh, thank you.
I'm one of the people that's in your corner.
Oh, well, you do pay me to be in your corner.
Well,
too.
Okay, yeah.
No, but totally jokes aside. I know that. But that's what's important in life is just having those relationships.
Very much so. Well, thanks for being an inspiration to me and everybody else around here. For the people, tell them one more time who you are, how they can find you, what you do.
Yeah. My name is Alex Stiffler. I am the owner and publisher for Stroll Forest Hills. You can find me actually on Facebook. Shoot me an email. Otherwise, you ain't finding my publication anywhere else.
We will put Alex's email and a little more info about the Stroll Magazine in the show notes here. But Alex, thank you again.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.